Hey everybody, welcome back to Better Know a Highway, a series where we look at the interstates of America, one road at a time. In this episode, we're heading back to the southeast to look at a highway that runs from the Atlantic coast to the Appalachian Mountains, and plenty in between, Interstate 26. And real quick before we get started, just wanted to remind you to please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel, always appreciate that. Make sure to check out the VRT Discord, link in the description below, and if you want to support this channel, you can join as a member for just $2.99 a month by clicking the join button below, and I definitely appreciate that. And with all that out of the way, let's get started. Interstate 26 is a generally northwest to southeast oriented highway in the southeastern and Appalachian regions of the U.S. It runs for a total of 328 miles through 3 states. Starting at the southern end, we begin in the state of South Carolina, where 26 runs from the coast to the north of the state for 221 miles. The southern terminus of I-26 is within the coastal city of Charleston, South Carolina. Beginning at a complex junction with US Route 17, a major East Coast roadway, 26 stays just to the north of the city core and quickly begins heading away from it, as it runs northwest through the area between the Cooper and Ashley rivers. As it heads further through the region, 26 soon reaches the suburban city of North Charleston, and shortly after, it passes directly next to the Charleston International Airport. But just before doing so, 26 also has a junction with its first spur route, I-526, which serves as a partial beltway for the city region. Winding through more suburbs as it continues northwest, 26 has junctions with several U.S. routes in the area, and eventually, the highway slowly enters more rural lands, dotted with farms. Entering the central part of the state, 26 passes some smaller places such as Harleyville and Wetzel. There is also a major junction in this area when 26 intersects with the major East Coast running I-95. The junction is located in a rural forested area, not near any major cities or towns, and 26 quickly keeps its way afterward, soon reaching the larger settlement of Orangeburg, which the highway passes just to the northeast of. Several more miles of rural driving follow, and 26 curves slightly more north, as it eventually heads into its next populated region, this one being in the capital city of Columbia, where the highway approaches from the southwestern side and population density quickly increases. The first junction in the area for I-26 is with the southern terminus of I-77, a highway which heads north and eventually reaches the Great Lakes region. Soon after, while passing the local city airport, I-26 begins to curve around the city more to the north and even slightly northeast for a short time, before reaching a T-junction with the spur route I-126, which is a short highway that heads east into downtown, while I-26 itself changes direction back to a pure northwest direction. Another significant junction quickly follows, this one being with the major east-west running I-20. Then after that, I-26 makes a straight path in a northwest to southeast orientation as it heads back into the South Carolina countryside, passing through small communities and large forest land as the highway soon enters the northern part of the state. Moving on, 26 passes more places of note, smaller cities such as Newberry and Clinton, the latter of which is the location of a junction, a fork, with 26 veering slightly more north, while a long spur route, I-385, heads more westerly. The spur route will take drivers to the city of Greenville, where it meets its parent route, while I-26 heads to the neighboring city of Spartanburg. Upon reaching the Spartanburg area, 26 first encounters a major commercial thoroughfare, US Route 29, with a heavily traveled junction connecting the two. Then, while staying west of the city itself, and within smaller satellite cities, 29 has 2 junctions in quick succession. The first with a business spur route for I-85, then just after, a densely trafficked junction with I-85 itself. After the crossing with I-85, 26 begins to head out of the area, passing first through suburbs and then into countryside once again, while passing smaller settlements along the way. Reaching the northernmost part of the state, 26 makes a short crossing of Lake William Bowen, and then about 5 miles later, finally reaches the state line and crosses into North Carolina. I-26 makes a curved path through the westernmost part of the Tar Heel State from south to north for 52 total miles. 26 stays on the same orientation as it first enters the state, But when it soon reaches the smaller city of Columbus, the highway makes a turn to a more due west direction. From here, it begins to rise in elevation as it enters the Appalachian region, soon weaving through the Blue Ridge Mountains and reaching elevations of over 1,000 feet and higher. As it traverses the elevated region, I-26 crosses the Eastern Continental Divide when it crosses the Green River, traveling over the highest bridge in all of North Carolina, 235 feet above the water below. Shortly after, the highway begins to descend into several valleys as it turns back to the northwest, passing cities and places such as Hendersonville and Fletcher, while also passing the nearby regional airport, and soon after, making an initial crossing of the nearby French Broad River. After some time cutting through more valleys, I-26 reaches the Asheville metro area and begins descending towards the city itself. But first, the highway has a junction with the major east-west running I-40. I-26's path through Asheville is relatively new and still under development, as more sections in this area are upgraded to interstate standards. Although some signage refers to this part of the highway as future I-26, it remains as a divided highway throughout, and has little impact on the driving experience. As such, in this video, we'll treat I-26 within North Carolina as a continuous highway. After crossing I-40, 26 becomes concurrent with the city beltway, I-240, and for the next several miles they run together in a loop around the north end. After a turn to the east, 26 makes its second crossing of the French Broad River, and then makes a sharp curve to the north, separating from I-240 as it does. The curve is so sharp that it violates interstate standards, and thus, a project is in the works for a bypass. A target completion date has been set for June of 2027. However, projects of this size often take much longer than expected. Now heading north, and paralleling the river, 26 heads through the suburban neighborhoods on the north end of the city, then proceeds to leave the Asheville area altogether, and head into the rugged lands of the Appalachians. Elevation slowly increases as 26 passes places such as Weaverville and Flat Creek. After a junction with US Route 19, I-26 enters the higher peaks within the Bald Mountains range. It rises first to an impressive elevation of 3,370 feet at Buckner Gap. Then, after a few more miles of winding through the mountains, 26 reaches its maximum elevation of 3,760 feet at Sam's Gap. It's in this high location that the Appalachian Trail crosses the highway. It's also where I-26 leaves North Carolina to enter its final state of Tennessee. I-26 runs through the extreme eastern end of the Volunteer State for 54 miles, which is actually slightly longer than its previous state. Continuing to traverse the high terrain of the Appalachian Ridge, 26 eventually begins to descend in a northeastern direction, snaking its way through steep ravines and soon flattening out slightly as it enters a larger valley and crosses the Nolichucky River. Just after the crossing, 26 reaches the city of Irwin, which lies within the valley, passing just to its west with one major exit connecting to it. Then 26 continues on until it reaches the end of the valley, where it makes a long turn back to the northwest and soon enters the Johnson City vicinity. The highway passes directly through the city, linking to the downtown core directly, and although there are no other interstates in this area, 26 does junction with several US routes. After leaving Johnson City, 26 enters farm country, a much different type of terrain than the mountains back to the east. As the highway begins to make a slight turn more to the north, it has a major junction with the long-running I-81, a critical route for commercial traffic along the East Coast. After the junction, I-26 has its final stretch when it passes Bays Mountain just to its east and enters the Kingsport area. The highway's presence here is brief, as it quickly crosses the South Fork of the Holston River, and then after a very short distance, the highway terminates at a cloverleaf exchange with US Route 11 West, a spur of the much longer US Route 11, just to the west of downtown Kingsport. This junction thus ends I-26's moderate 328-mile run. And that will be all for this episode of Better Know a Highway. Hope you enjoyed, as always. And hey, before you go, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Make sure to check out the VRT Discord, link is in the description below, and I hope to see you there for some interesting discussion. And finally, if you want to support this channel, and you can become a member for just $2.99 a month by clicking the join button below. And I want to send a big shout out to all my members, and I want to send a big welcome to our newest member, Bradley Wash. Thank you so much for signing up and for your support. It is very much appreciated. And if you want to get on this cool list with these cool people, just click that join button below. And I definitely thank you for that. And with all that out of the way, make sure you enjoy the ride. And up next, we're heading out west to Interstate 25. And I'll see you then.